hero of my cake. Independent leader made a way. I'm the people's voice, hip hip parade. Stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race. There's trophies on trophies, views from the townscape. Change is great, break, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate. Chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a featherweight. Man, I'm so blessed, I just meditate. Peace of mind, that's what you get when you out there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we are back to discuss BMF. I shouldn't say we, because y'all been holding down the fort real good. You know.
No, we're back.
It's we collective, you know.
It's we.
Yeah, I'm getting back into the groove. I plan to continue. So glad to be back on. Glad to be here to discuss BMF. This is season 3, episode 8, titled Code Red. But before we get started with our discussion, please make sure that you all subscribe to our channel, click that notification bell, and also that thumbs up button. All of those things help support our channel, helps us to continue growing and reaching the right audiences. So also make sure you tell your friends and family to hop onto the spot as well. Now that we got some housekeeping out the way, let's go ahead and talk about this Code Red episode, because it's a lot of rivalries going on, both in Detroit and Atlanta.
Well, they
could have called it heating up.
And they could have called it Cold Red Dog.
Right, basically. The red dogs ain't no joke. So, yeah, along those lines, you know, with Meech in Atlanta, he has all of this stuff going on with the beefs. Like, he got everybody up against him. He got the MKs, he got, you know, Remy's crew, and then he got the Red Dogs gunning for him. So it's like, dang, you know. So, you know, it's really a lot going on. And, you know, you talk about the Red Dogs, but they are hounds, you know. They should have been called the Red Hounds, because they are just going all over Atlanta, harassing people, searching them. I don't know if that was, you know, legal search and frisk, you know, the stop and frisks and stuff like that, but you know how historically stop and frisks have gone down.
Yeah.
So it was very targeted.
Didn't they bust down I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Ron. Yeah. I think you were going where I was going, like even at Milton's house.
Yeah.
You know, or harassing his father and everything. Said, you know, you guys harassing us, and you should have been out there trying to, where were y'all when my son got shot up?
Exactly. Meech was really smart to kind of take some of what he learned in Detroit with the cars and, you know, them chopping up the cars to do their thing. He's bringing that same mindset to Atlanta. So now he's trying to, you know, put these little compartments into the cars and whatnot. And he was very smart also for putting some fake drugs in there, because I know them Red Dogs was hot when they figured out it was baking soda.
He said, we're going to do a test run.
Right.
And, you know, it proved fruitful, you know, because he got to see that old boy's compartment, despite all of his lip service about how great he was and not being detected, you know, he put it to the test, and clearly that guy ain't all he cracked up to be. But he also looked out for his crew by not putting real drugs in there too. So I'm sure that they appreciate his savviness, and they like feel like he has like he's gonna hold them down basically.
Yeah.
And I think the Red Dogs are probably onto that, because it seemed like they knew where to look. So this guy may have thought that he was, you know, on point, but clearly the Red Dogs knew where to look.
Yeah.
It took him a minute, but he figured it out. So they have to devise another plan, and you know, like some of the cars are so, I guess, building a compartment up under the car, you know, which is, they typically don't go up under the car to check. But he knew what to do. So, but Meech is every episode he continues to show his brilliance, and
well, yeah.
Well, you know what I was thinking? Because, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead, but because they're heading to Miami and they're going to see that boxer can tell him, like, where they went. Because remember, he had the compartments with his jewelry and everything, with the speakers and all that stuff. So he probably can give him some tips on who to go to and who can, like, really hide their stuff and everything. Since they're going to Miami, they can figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. And but as it seemed like Meech takes 2 steps forward and then 10 steps back, because here he is trying to set up this stuff with Claude, and they're plotting on how to get Remy out of the picture, because obviously Remy is not down with the program. And I felt bad for Claude, because he really was trying to rally people around him, get them some money, and get them up from under Remy some. But Remy found out. So
I told Ron in one of our recaps that I thought that was going to happen. I was like, one or two things are going to happen. I was like, either they're going to get Remy out the way, or Remy was going to get Claude out the way. And we talked about that. And I thought that was going to happen.
Well, there's a general consensus too, because it was, I think one of the main considerations was you can't play both ends, and Remy is not the smartest,
it's not that he's not smart. I think he's just very peg-headed. Like, he's wants his way, my way or the highway.
Well, he seems, well, I take that in reference to when he and Glock were together. I'm sorry, thinking about someone else, but it's just the way he handles his business and the way he goes about running his business that's not conducive to keeping his crew, which is exactly why Claude skipped on him in the first place. Now, personally, I thought Meech put too much on Claude, because, you all say he's not stupid, and I guess he's not stupid, but he's he showed me he's a little smarter than what I thought he was.
I figured he was going to figure that out. I mean, you having a meeting and you are asking the guys to basically, pull a mutiny on Remy. And these are, and somebody probably told him about the meeting or whatever, because he pulled up while he was meeting with them. And then he made an example out of Claude.
Would you have a localized meeting like that, where Claude could where Remy can just come in at any point in time? I thought where they held the meeting, the fact that Remy just, burst right in, just kind of proves to me that Claude didn't think that all the way through.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about too with Remy is, with a grand show of dominance like that, how does his crew take that? Because from what Claude was saying, like him and Remy grew up together, they were real tight, and you could just take him out so easy like that. Like, you didn't even really give him a chance to, not that he had much redemption value with that kind of betrayal, but sometimes people at least allow you to get your explanation out and try to explain why you did what you did. Remy ain't do none of that. He just said, this is it. You out of here.
Even trying to dress like Meech, so whole thing.
Yeah, he said, you are like my brother, and I raised you like you were my son. So he took it personally, and he used that as a way to make him an example for the team. And they look like they were shook too. So
if I'm the team, I'm probably gonna fall in line.
Yeah.
But I thought cutting out his tongue might have been,
that was a bit much.
You cut out his tongue and then you put a smiley face on his neck.
Oh, he beheaded him. He also beheaded him, because that's
he must have done that later, because he couldn't have done that with the knife he had. But I cut his tongue out. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he'll stop there. Claude won't be able to talk anymore. He went straight for the chopping heads and sending off packages. Well,
yeah, and Meech, if he didn't get the message before, he got it now. So I wonder what his next move is now that his plans with Claude are foiled. And it's like they still have this beef, and not only that, Glock is on his tail, because Angel has informed him that Glock has this plan to take him out, which later came to fruition where he was in the hotel with the strippers. Which I was like, come on, Meek, you gotta know something's up. Like, I know the strippers are very friendly with him, and he's a charming guy or whatever, but at the same time, If it's too good to be true, then it probably is.
Always have a backup to watch the door. You know, he should have had.
Yeah.
But speaking of Miss Angel or whatever, Angel. Okay. You know,
I think you're gonna say what I was thinking wrong. You about to probably say what I'm thinking.
Well, you know how I felt about her in the very beginning, because I said
he didn't trust her.
And she proved that. But Angel, so she's riding shotgun with Glock. And so she hears the conversation that, you know, Glock's trying to do. And then you show up and you did the right thing by informing Meech. But I have a problem with the mere fact that you even showed up in the beginning, to beginning. And then trying to soft talk Meech into perhaps trying to get back in. I don't know what she was trying to do, but
she's letting him know she still cared.
Well, you know what?
Because it's clear that he still cared for her too.
Yeah.
Because he was real tender to her in his response. Because a week or so ago, he was like, "You out my circle of trust."
But we can't play that game though. That in and out.
My thing with Angel is that confused me is how does her loyalty shift so fast and so drastically?
Exactly.
Because, you know, she was with Neo's character, I forget his name.
Greenie.
Greenie, correct. Yeah, she was a Greenie early on in the season. She was completely, you know, super loyal to him because he was providing for her. Then she shifted her attention to Meech, and as long as Meech was, you know, providing comfort and a place to stay and loving on her or whatever, she was cool. As soon as he went out of town, she was done. Then she moves to Glock, and I'm like, now she's sitting up here being super loyal to Glock, and I'm like, how does this happen in what seems like a few short weeks?
But she just got upset because Meech was heading out of town. Meech was still planning to take care of her. He wasn't like, you know, leaving her or anything. He just said, "I'm going out of town," and she just flips and goes over to Glock. And now you want to come back and tell me that my life's in danger? Heck, I already know that. And, you know, she didn't give him much information, because how many times have I said these thugs need to learn how to shoot a gun?
Dude, I thought of you when I watched it. I was like, oh, Ryan's gonna say something about the fact that they're missing and stuff. They hit the
you
stripper. Hit her.
You got her. Got a good shot.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like with Angel, and we talked about this before, those abandonment issues, because I think when she said to Meech that, you know, I want to go with you, when he was gonna leave because he was on a run, and he was like, I can't take you with, because he needed to be on his own. She was like, oh, well, then I might have to move on if you don't come back. I think she said
like she's calling his bluff.
It was gone. And he said, oh, now you gotta stand on it. You said it, you stand on it. And I think, you know, you can see she went to Glock and stuff, but when Meech was back in the club, even though she was twerking on Glock, she was looking over there at Meech.
Angel is a bird, okay?
I mean,
she is a bird. And some people, we talked about that too, that when people don't know how to behave when people treat them right.
But I can get with the abandonment issues, but
and they don't think they deserve better because they know your worth and this, that, and the other. And she rather line them up with pigs.
But what I could not get is she coming out of her mouth talking about, I'm going over to Glock. Now, you know, you could have said, hey, I'm leaving, and let it stay at that. But you let it slip out of your mouth that you're going over to Glock, all because he's going out of town.
Yeah, she's out of pocket. She's out of pocket, and he cut her off, and rightfully so. And I think she felt bad about that. And I think when she heard what she heard, you know, she figured she was going to make her way, you know, over there and give him the heads up stuff. Because I think she does care about Meech for real, though. I think she's a turncoat, like you said. Her loyalty is, but I do think that she does care for him.
You know, it's going to be real interesting in Miami with, you know, Glock's people being down there, and Meech going there. Now Meech has actually killed one of Glock's men. So
that's his right
this
hand.
Ain't gonna end well.
That was
I can
right
see
hand.
it being real messy in Miami. So we're gonna have to wait until next week to check that out.
But is he traveling? Well, no, he's not traveling alone because I think he has
Terry. He called Terry to go.
T is coming down too.
Going down with, but really they need about at least 1 or 2 more guys to go with him. I mean,
and that's their backyard. What were we saying about that whole speech about Techwood and Viet Cong and all of that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's his backyard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Terry, if we shift our attention back to Detroit, Terry basically has this issue with this cop Vince, and I'm like, well, he out here trying to get with Markeisha, and he out dirty macking on the side, down talking Terry, and basically telling him that he's gonna audit his accounting and all of that. I felt so good when Terry actually called this dude out because I was worried that people in authority try to use their pull to do certain things, and so I was worried that it would get too far, but I'm glad Terry kind of checked them and put him in his place, and Markeisha did too.
Yeah, she did, but I tell you, she's more trouble than she's worth. I was just like, here she go. I was like, then they got shot at, behind her, this guy cop is trying to dress Terry down and stuff. Like, she more trouble than she worth.
Did she call Vince again to meet? Did she call Vince one more time to meet her at that place? I think she wanted a showdown because remember, I know people frequent a place every now and again, but it's like whenever Markeisha and T are at that bar, Vince was showing up. Well, no, the first time she called him. I'm really thinking that she called him again this time too, just to see what would happen. And I'm glad T read him like a storybook. And I forgot who he put on him, one of his crew members.
Ooh, he told Luke to find out everything about him.
And he did.
Yeah. And Terry tried to get his ducks in a row just to make sure, he was getting other methods to clean the money and whatnot, doing the lottery ticket scheme. And I was like, whatever works.
That was a very intricate scheme that he put out, but man, that was.
It's also smart of him to approach the corner store owners and whatnot, try to rally all of these different stores around Detroit, just to make sure that it doesn't look like it's suspicious or anything like that. But in doing so and having some of those guys come in and sit down at the table with him, he's stealing away from Henry, he's stealing Henry's peoples. And so I'm like, oh man, this is really about to get crazy. Because Henry had just gotten to a point where she had gotten enough money to pay off her debts. So she was about to be back in good with the Chaldeans. And then here comes Terry. So it's not going to be pretty up in Detroit, I'm thinking, next episode.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, okay, so she got bailed out by the uncle, with the money to pay back the Chaldeans. And wait till she find out about her other cousin is gone. She's gonna be real extra. And until you weren't on our episode last week or whatever, we were talking about that with Jen. I was just talking about how worried I am for Jen. And I think Henry.
But Jen kind of worked things up this week, though. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but Henry was kind of falling for Jen.
Yeah, she was.
But she might check her out. What if she checks her out and she follows her home and realizes the home is the same home that she shot up?
I think the one thing Jen has to decide that you're either going to play or you're not, because the next time you go over to Henry's house like that, you're gonna have to give it up. And
I think she got shook. That's why she voted out of it. She was shook. I think she realized like, this is going farther than I
and you
like
can't
to go.
and you can't play that too many times. So
No.
because you do that one more time, and just like you said, Henry's gonna get a light bulb, and then she's trying to figure this girl out. So yeah, but she was real shook. I don't think she thought it through when she decided to go over to Henry's house.
And Bryant told her, like, he knows how
did.
dangerous Henry is. So he was like, call me for backup. Like, you don't have, when you go undercover, you're supposed to have backup. And she does not. This woman is dangerous. Like, I thought about what she was saying to Jen when she was like, yeah, I was dealing with this half Chaldean woman and stuff, and it didn't work out. The love died. And I was like, that was interesting how she said it. She ain't said she was the one that killed her.
Well,
right.
He told the truth. The love did die.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. Playing with Henry is playing with fire, and Detective Jen, Bryant killing the cousin. It's all the perfect storm for Henry to fly off the hinges, and not to mention what Terry is doing behind her back. So go ahead.
Bryant beat Tyson. I said he either beat him half to death or to death.
Oh, I think he beat him to death.
I think he did.
I think he did too. When they zoomed in on it, and I looked at his head, I was like, "Oh, I think he did." Unless he gonna pull a unique, unless it's unique from Raising Canaan. But I think he's dead. And one of the things that I wondered, I was like, when she sees that this happens to Swan, is she gonna think it's Bryant or is she gonna think it's T? Because the things that are happening at the same time, T cutting her water off, so to speak, with the work, and then now her cousin turns up dead. Now remember the last episode or a couple episodes ago, she torched T's man, Diz. So I'm wondering if she's gonna assume that this is BMF and T and try to turn up on T.
Probably. That's a good point. Yeah. And I was thinking about Bryant too, because I was a little disappointed in his lack of emotion last episode after seeing Kevin pass away. And so this episode, you're kind of seeing it come out. Like, he's got rage. It's not really a lot of sorrow. I mean, he showed a little sorrow where he was drinking himself, away and kind of sulking in his house or whatever. But then it turned into the rage. And I was like, I'm glad to see some emotion.
Right. But the house kind of got me, though, because he started to go into the bedroom.
And he couldn't do it.
And he couldn't do it. And he slid down. And so I'm like, okay, he's really, he's really.
Yeah, he's grieving, and everybody grieves differently. Yeah. And sometimes when it happens, it could be delayed. It can be rage. Like it's like stages when you go through grief and stuff. And I think that you heard that he's still placing the blame on everybody else. When Jen came to check on him, he was like, it's those dope dealers, it's Meech, and it's he, and it's Henry and stuff. And I'm like, you deserve some accountability here too, sir.
Yeah, throw yourself in there a little bit.
Yeah.
You made a good point though about Terry though, and I'm thinking about it. I really hope that Terry can figure it out too, because word travels, and I'm hoping that he can get word about what happened to the cousin so that he can play a little defense first before Henry tries to make a move on him. But he's gonna be in Miami anyway, so maybe he can dodge a couple of bullets, literally.
Well, his team that's behind, like, will she go ham on them? Like, whoever is behind.
We know that Henry wants him dead anyway, so all that's going to do is fuel her energy there. So whether she found out whether it was T or not, the mere fact she finds out that her cousin is dead, like you said, it's all over. Well, not technically all over, but she'll be all over T.
And like, as good as Terry was about maneuvering his business moves this episode, I was a little disappointed in him for how he treated Nicole, because he just blew up her whole spot. I was like, really, Terry?
Yeah, but that's how some big brothers are.
It is, but I was like,
come on. I mean, look at that scene. Sitting in the back seat with your dude.
He had alcohol. He had alcohol in the car, and she's a teenager, right? Yeah, like, how is Nicole on the show?
No way would that fly for a big brother. No way.
But I get that, but I was like, dang, you ain't have to drag her.
No, he didn't. He's like,
no, come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. Can you imagine him walking up to the door and saying,
No, he did just what I thought a big brother would do, though.
No. Hold on. Let me run this scenario. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nicole, would you please step out of the car for a moment?
I wasn't surprised that he behaved that way. And shoot, if Lucille or Charles was there, they probably would have turned up.
Charles turned the car over.
Yeah, but I guess, well, I know her and Terry's relationship is much different from her and Meech relationship. And I feel like Meech would have probably taken a different approach, probably because he empathizes with what's going on with her and kind of like how she gets treated in the family, and everybody's basically being hypocritical. And I don't think she has that bond with Terry necessarily as much as she does with Meech. And so Terry is kind of like you said, acting like the big brother and really going hard on the, get out the car. Like he went in. So I get that it was a cause for concern, but I thought that he could have handled her a little bit more delicately given, what she's been through with the family.
He could, but he is like a bull in the China shop. Anyway, like we talked about that this whole season about his approach as opposed to Meech. Meech has more finesse and stuff, and T is more, he's more heavy-handed and stuff. So I wasn't even surprised to see him behave.
But I let me hold it down for the brother here. But when he stepped out of the car, he seemed to be a little disgusted. But when he walked around over to the side, back door, and he probably saw the alcohol. He did. He broke the. Wait. I'm saying he probably saw the alcohol the moment he bent down and saw, Nicole. So right then and there, he went from zero
to 100.
And I can understand that. Whether she had a drink in her hand or not. We don't know. And he would not have known. He wouldn't have known whether she was going to grab a drink or he didn't know what they were going to get into. All he was thinking of, I got enough problems at home. Let me get this girl out of here. And
we saw what the other couple was doing in the front seat.
Well, yeah.
Right.
The other couple
they were getting busy. They were getting busy.
Yeah. And it wasn't going to probably be too much longer before Nick and Breeze
a couple
did their thing. Away. I mean, he said they were taking it slow. So I did appreciate the conversation that he had with dude in the store when he was like, listen, me and my girl, we taking it slow. That cute little note, we be my girlfriend, and then she kissed him and stuff. But I'm like, anything can happen when y'all in them close quarters and you got alcohol and unchaperoned and stuff. So I get it. I wasn't mad at you. I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm mad. I'm just saying, like, Nicole, and she got a little jab in there too. She was like, "Isn't snitching, frowned upon in your line of business?" So I was like, Nicole, stay firing off shots.
Yeah, she does. She does.
They ought to give her the gun the next time they start trying to shoot somebody. She would hit her target. But
growing up.
I know. I'm all Terry. This episode. I like.
Okay.
I like everything he's done, with the exception of Marquise.
Except Marquise.
That's what I say.
And did you hear what she said?
Oh my God!
She said just what I was telling y'all she was gonna say.
Well, she put a plant in his head.
She did. She was like, he's a big brother, but you should be the one running the show. I said, I told you she was gonna be in his ear, and she's gonna be the catalyst for them breaking up.
You're absolutely. You're second to none. I'm like, Markeisha, you are really. I go right back to that dream when she got shot in the back. I gotta go back to that.
It's terrible.
I know, but I gotta go back to that.
Yeah, she's definitely. She likes to stir the pot a little bit.
A little bit.
A lot of it.
Trying to mold him into the man she wants.
She wants him to be. Yep. And talking about the rest of the family, we seen Charles really going hard for Lucille this episode. He actually got a gig to perform with the Campbell brothers, and Lucille actually went through and supported him, which I was happy that she did. Still supporting his dreams and whatnot. But Lucille's no pushover though. She still ain't necessarily being swayed.
She's on my hands list.
Oh.
Okay. Well, okay. What happened, Ron?
Okay.
Wash your hands, Liz.
Charles comes in with some great news. He's feeling good about the fact he's got a gig and he wants her there. And what does she say? What comes out of her mouth?
Can she bring the doctor?
Yeah, she was out of pocket for that. I was like,
oh my God. If I could reach through that television.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Lucille, you were sipping on something. You were sipping on something when you said that. Yeah, she was tripping. She was tripping, but I was glad that she came solo. And she supported him, and not only that, she threw him a lob. She threw him a lob
did.
Because she told dude, oh, not only is he a good musician, he's a good writer. He wrote me a song. So she threw a lob.
Well, look at here. What does she see now? She sees that he's getting his act together. He's got this gig. Some dude comes up to him, and and she throws him that lob, and Brother Man gives him his card. Charles looks like he's on the up and up. So here we go again, old high school. What did I tell you that in the last episode? She, because most of our fans thought, well, most of them thought she was wrong for doing it, but a few of you thought that it was an emotional state for her, because Charles cheated and everything. Well, now we know that she's cheating, maybe not as in depth as Charles, but she went there. But aside from that, you look like you're playing the two of them here once again. It's that whole high school crush. You got the nerd, and then you got Charles and obviously she loves music. And this is why I think she picked Charles in the first place, because of his musical background. But remember what I said last episode, I think Dr. Reese might get hurt. And because I think she's going to eventually choose Charles because of the history and the family and what have you. And now that Charles seems to be getting his act together as far as a job is concerned and getting back into his music, I can see her picking Charles. But what about Dr. Reese? Because he doesn't look like a brother that can lose twice.
Nah, and he might mess around and say to her, like, who knows? He might call it quits and say, listen, I need you to make a decision, and I can't be waiting around for you to decide. And he might step off and be like, listen.
I think it would be something more nefarious than that. I think
he could, because he might have a lot, we haven't seen his true character.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't know.
Right. And Lucille she's exploring when somebody cheats on you and betrays you like Charles did. He's at her mercy, kind of, to get back in her good graces. And I appreciate that Lucille is trying to take some time for herself. But, like you said, Ron, it is getting a little sticky with bringing Doctor into the picture, which Lucille should have been very cautious of doing that in the first place.
Exactly.
Because, it just doesn't work out well for anybody in that situation when you pulling outside people into your situation.
And I think, when they had that church group at the house and the pastor was talking about her own experience, I think that hit her hard too. Like, okay, especially since the pastor is asking her to be assistant pastor. You can't be no assistant pastor.
Exactly.
You got
garbage 2 men
there going on. So I think, that might help her come around and help her repair things with Charles too. Like, especially if she wants to pursue her ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's what she wants. I mean, she's saying that, she hasn't heard from God yet, but I think what it is, she's thinking she's got to clean up her own house.
Yes.
Before she makes a move like that. And absolutely, if you're going to have to decide, make a decision, either you're going to have Charles or not. But it was touching to see her not only have his back in that regard, but the chemistry between them seemed like
they still love each other. I mean, regardless of what, like, she's hurt and stuff, I think she still loves Charles.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And she showed it. So
yeah.
Maybe
I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with them. Definitely looking forward to next week, because it's episode 9, and we're winding down on this season, so I want to see where they're going to leave us. What's going to happen in these last 2 they got to address some things, and I want to see where Terry and Meech are going to end up, as far as, you know, Terry with Henry and Meech with this Glock situation, because it seems like it's just going to be violence all the way around. Yeah, I think y'all agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but who can get the hands this week? Ron, you sticking with Lucille?
Oh, yeah, sticking with Lucille.
Okay, you know, yes, I am. Even though there was a very touching moment, and you know, she helped out Charles with a plug. Yeah, I'm still going to give it to her because she's got to make a decision, and right now she seems to be wavering on the Charles end, and who knows, Dr. Reese might show up and then she'll waver back on his side. So she's got to make a decision, get off this, you know, this whole idea of I can have them both. You can't.
All right, Tiff, you got any nominations?
Oh, Markeisha, of course. Because I'm just like, I already see her, you know, being divisive about Meech. Like, she's planting seeds. And I feel like she's going to be the catalyst for their breakup.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And I think I really want to give Remy the hands just because of how brutal he was to his boy. Like, that's supposed to be a boy. And he just was so brutal with him.
He was brutal, but his boy did betray him.
He
did betray him. That's why I was like, I'm borderline. Like, I don't know if I want to give him the hands. I might give him one hand.
I thought about that too, because I was like, dang, should we give Remy? But I was like, but Claude, because if they partnered with Meech, the plan was Claude was supposed to take Remy out. So he was going to take Remy out eventually. He just was trying to sell, because when he was trying to get Meech on board, Meech was like, no, that's all you. This is on you. This is your chance to show that you're a leader. So he was like, it's on you to get your people together and you take care of it. So he was going to snake and get Remy up out of there too.
That's why I was like, I get it. I'm torn. But
yeah.
I'm with you though, Tiara. I'm with you. I'd give him the hands because you didn't have to cut out his tongue if you were going to chop off his neck. Okay. I mean, just leave the tongue in
he was running his mouth. The tongue. The tongue. He's running his mouth to the
take the tongue. Then take the tongue. I know, but you know, hey, he went a bit too far as I'm concerned. But hey.
Okay. Well, game ball. Who we giving the game ball to? I'm hesitating a little bit on what I want to say because I think y'all know how I feel about Angel. I feel like she's a bird, and she's definitely a homie hopper. But at the same time, she did give Meech the heads up, and I was like, okay, I can appreciate that. You know, despite her shifting loyalties, she still is looking out for Meech from, you know, a distance. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to give it to her, but I did like that she did that.
Yes, thank goodness. But you know, I'm thinking, and this might be controversial considering what you said about T, because you didn't like that how he snatched Nicole up. But I felt like on the business front, he deserved a game ball because how he with the Chaldeans, how he cut Henry off and stuff, you know, how he moved with that, how he got the drop on Officer Vince and stuff. I was like, okay, I like the way he moved on that front. You know?
He bossed up this episode.
So on the business front, I think he deserved game ball.
And I think if we generally can give only one game ball, because that's really an important piece, I have to go with what you said. You know, Tiff. I got to give it to T.
T.
Yeah. Okay. And Angie.
We all know ain't nobody really feeling her right now.
Like, you've been mad at Angel like you was Markeisha. Markeisha was really on your list, and now it sounds like Angel is too.
Right there, she's right there with her. It's a seesaw thing with them, you know. And I'm gonna keep calling her Angie. I'm not calling her Angie. Ain't no Angel.
She's not no Angel, right?
Call her Angie.
Man, well, this has been a really good discussion. For all of our viewers out there, please make sure you drop down the comment section. Give us your thoughts on this episode, and as well as your future predictions for the last two that are remaining for the season. Also, be sure to follow us on our social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on all major platforms, so give us a follow there. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the like button and that notification bell. Tell your friends and family, like I said earlier on, to hop on, pull them in, and get them hooked on our content. We got a lot of great stuff in that interview section of our page, so go scroll over there. We have a whole playlist of like great interviews from a bunch of, all of our poppin' shows that we review. Tiff, Ron, y'all got anything else you want to add?
I was just going to say we have a BMF roundtable coming up. So if you want to join us for the roundtable, please hit us up in the comments. Let us know.
Absolutely. So, we always got something up our sleeve and you don't want to miss out. That's why it's so important to be tapped in with us both here on YouTube by subscribing and on our social media platforms by following us over there. So please do that. Ron, you got anything?
Yeah, one other thing. Since you watch our recaps and you let us know what you think and how you might think you may want to join us sometimes, because we're always looking for somebody to step in and from the fans and maybe join us in one of these episodes, the last two episodes. It would be nice to have you. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, always looking for some fresh opinions, and of course, like Tiff said, for the roundtable too, to get to speak to talent. So that's always a treat. But if you guys have nothing else to add, then I think we are going to call it a night. We thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you are back here next week as we recap episode 9 of BMF. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Centerfold, hard to hide it. Out on the walls in the writing. If we stay